So that nagging little voice in your head, you know the one I mean, quite often starts conversations with what if? What if you fail? What if you fall flat on your face? What if everyone thinks you're a joke? If we're meeting for the first time, I'm Churchill and I'm on a mission to help women grow from self-doubt to self-confidence so they can take their career to the next level. Whether you're looking for a career change, a promotion, or even just recognition for where you are now, I'm here to help. My passion is to help you achieve that. If you've got any comments or questions, please leave them down below. Thumbs up, of course, is always appreciated. And while we're here, why don't you subscribe to the channel? There's also a little bell. Press that and then you'll get a notification every time there's a new issue. So I don't know about you, but I spent so many years letting that little voice in my head talk me out of things. I dread to think how many opportunities I didn't go for because I was listening to my inner dialogue. They're like a load of doubt demons just waiting there to squash your daydreams and keep you small. But in fact, the only thing I was doing was allow it to justify why I shouldn't be going for anything at any given moment. And is that the voice of reason? No, that absolutely is not the voice of reason. It's the voice of worst possible case ever. It's the voice of total negativity, the voice telling you not to take risks, not to get out of your comfort zone. But we'll save comfort zones for another day, shall we? The voice that says play safe, be grateful for what you've got, don't rock the boat, we'll sink. In other words, it's the voice of the fear of change. And sometimes you can hear that voice, which is great because you've got half a chance of answering it back and telling it to shut up. But other times that voice just gets to ramble on without you even being aware that it's happening. And all of those messages that inner voice is saying are ploughing straight into your subconscious mind without you being aware of it even. And that's your danger zone right there. And let me explain why. And here's the technical part. Your subconscious mind has no filter of what it should or shouldn't accept as a message. It has no reason to question anything. Your subconscious mind doesn't think, oh, that doesn't sound right. That sounds a bit wrong. That sounds immoral, illegal, totally off the mark. It doesn't do any of those things. It just accepts all of the messages in. It's like your subconscious mind is one big hard drive and it has no limits, and all of the messages get stored and stored and stored forever. Every single message received, believed and stored. And the dangerous thing is those messages can pop out at any given moment. This hard drive opens for business before you're even born. As soon as you are a thing inside your mother's womb, there are messages that are being received. You know, unborn babies can hear stuff, they can hear messages, they can feel emotions, all of that stuff already stored before you're even born. And those messages carry on being stored mostly from childhood when you're open, you're learning, you trust the adults around you. These messages come from family, from community, from religion, from school, from society. And then there's your value system. Your value system is largely taught to you when you're a child. Your values tell you what is good or bad, right or wrong, moral, immoral, important or not, and acceptable or not. And all of those values come back and make you actually believe what you believe about other people and also what you believe about yourself. It creates the expectation on yourself, the perception of yourself, how far you believe you can go. In other words, you're putting limits on yourself. It's these values that decide whether you want to push on, be ambitious, or stay in the status quo. In other words, what you are doing is creating limits for yourself and imposing them on yourself. Here's a quick example from one of my clients. I had a client who was looking to go out of corporate and into entrepreneurship. A journey not dissimilar to my own, but I like a foot in both camps. She described the emotions that she was having when she was trying to get to the entrepreneurship as bipolar, which is quite a dramatic description, if you like, for the feelings that she was having. But what she meant is that she could fling from feeling totally confident to crashing and burning and having absolute crippling self-doubt. Now, for most entrepreneurs and would-be entrepreneurs, we recognise those feelings. And it's not one good day, one bad day. You can flip between these two limits, really, in the space of a minute or so. It's literally that rocky road. And that little voice inside your head has a lot to do with these feelings. I put it down to this a lot. Is if you can control that voice that's telling you don't do it, you're going to be rubbish, you're going to fail. If you can get that controlled, then these all-time lows will not be as impactful. Your logical mind knows you've got a solid idea. You're not just flying by the seat of your pants. You've done your research, you've spoken to people, you've shared it with your partner, your family perhaps, you've talked it all through. It's not the first time that you've tweaked and changed and come up with better and better ways of doing it. And that's when you're on the top of that confidence roller coaster, when you're feeling like everything's on the up, you're getting better and better each time. And there it goes, bang, straight in the stomach, that little voice, well, that's not going to work. And that's it. That's enough to unravel the whole thing if you let it. And if you do let it, suddenly there's a committee of mind monkeys in your mind giving it, well, of course it won't work. It was never going to. Why did you even try? Don't put us in the boat again. Don't let the rocky thing. We're going to all sink. Da, 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 da. And all of a sudden, you're way out of control of your thinking. So I'd like you to think about these top takeaways from what I've been talking about. Number 1, self-doubt thrives on what-ifs. That little voice inside your head is the worst case scenario. It's not the voice of reason. You don't need to listen to it. In fact, recognise it as talking rubbish and tell it to shut up. The reason I use the term mind monkeys is because I also visualise a cage, and I tell my mind monkeys, go back, get back in their cage where I can't hear you, can't see you. Number 2, subconscious beliefs shape your perception. It's that puts the limits on you. And they come from you. So in other words, you're creating your own limits. So do some inner work. Have a look at the values you're holding, the limits that you're putting on yourself. Maybe you can come out of those and little by little step out of your comfort zone and start to realise some of those dreams you've maybe had when you were younger. Number 3, unchecked negative talk derails your goals. In other words, if you don't listen to that voice and tell it to shut up, or tell your mind monkeys to go get in the cage, it's going to cause havoc. It's going to wreck any goals or dreams you ever had. So you've got to become aware. Number 4, you have the power to reframe that internal dialogue. Again, by consciously acknowledging it, telling it to shut up, or actually reversing what it says. You can't do that. Who says I can't do that? I say I can do it, so I'm going to do it. I can and I will. Watch me. And number 5, emotional highs and lows are probably inevitable in anything that you're pushing yourself and challenging yourself to go for. But they are manageable. Recognising these shifts as completely normal and being very happy with the highs, but not letting the lows get quite so low, is the best way to take small steps of action and progress towards what it is that you want to achieve. And if your knees are still knocking at the prospect of your next pitch, presentation, interview or meeting, I've got just the thing for you. I've created a free guide called Get the Results You Need, which I specifically put together to help you overcome the nerves and step into that interaction with the most confidence that you can possibly have. I want you to leave those mind monkeys at the door and go in with your best foot forwards. And that's why I'm so happy for you to get your hands on this free guide. There's a link to it right below where you're watching this video, so go ahead and download that now. As ever, I really appreciate your feedback. It helps me to bring you the stuff you're looking for, and it helps other people to find my stuff as well. So please leave any comments or questions down below. Thumbs up is always appreciated, and while you're there, why not subscribe to the channel? In the meantime, remember you're amazing, go download the guide, and you have an amazing week.